Or do you realize that you put a bounty out of $2,000 for information leading to the capture, I guess, of a person that called CPS, or DHS, whoever? A bounty. Just before Christmas. Oh, and you're throwing in red tube. What is it? YouTube Red. So anybody that wants to sell out their best friend, their best YouTube friend, nobody's a friend out there. Remember, Laura told us that yesterday. She'd sell out her best friend. That's what she said yesterday. But maybe I heard it wrong. Maybe that's just not her character. Everything that people are against her for, she says it herself. Like, she's an open book. Yes, she is. I thought of another one that she said, the cocaine in the mail. She told us that story. like anybody could have listened to anything that she has said over the last 4 or 5 months and came to the same list. Because when they were reading the list, I'm going, well, yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. I didn't hear that one. I haven't heard the one about the selling of the cigarettes. I never heard that one before. But you're doxing yourself. You're doxing other people by mistake. Oops, sorry, but then it turns into it's their fault because they saw it. Now, how do you figure that? How are you logically thinking that? And another one is, okay, everybody was on board. Nobody thinks that you should be swatted, or not swatted, but CPS'd. Nobody. Nobody is going to do that. Does that mean that they think that you're a great mother? No. Does that mean that they think that you're above board? No. That just means that it's a commonality with, unless they're older, they can take care of themselves. It's not even that. It's the lack of attention. It's the minimizing of, you go to their games and you're on live stream. Why? Take them Halloween shopping, you have them live streaming with you. Why? That's most people feel that maybe you should just tone it down a little bit. They are listening. And stop just gaslighting everybody, I guess. Because what you're doing is you're making crazy. You find an opportunity just to lose it. It's madness. Big red flag would be what your discussions go nowhere. They just go around in circles. You talk for 2 hours and a few key phrases from you, and you really haven't said anything. Okay, the story about the baseball bat. I've heard your children fight. I have sons, they fight. But again, you told the story about the boys being upset and your daughter being upset because of the youngest one might lie and tell stories, because that's what he does. He lies about his brothers, and that's why your daughter was upset, because they thought that he would embellish the truth and make it sound worse than it was. And then you said, well, it does get pretty bad, but boys will be boys. So you pretty much alluded to the fact that it really did happen. Maybe not in the exact words, but they obviously get out of control and pick on their brother. And obviously they must have hurt him at some point. That's what you just told us yesterday in this little story that you told us. So I find most of the information that you give us, you're giving it yourself. Whether you want to believe that you are or not. And the stories that are coming out about you, that came out on the DHS list, I mean, I saw for myself the hickey and you calling her a slut. Like, who does that? So that's another true statement. So you're 99% of the untruths of your statements. That's two there that are up there. What was the other one? That you left them for a couple days? Well, you sort of did when you packed up your stuff and went chasing down a case, going to church, drinking and driving on the way home. And you were swerving. Yes, you were. But that's a lie too, right? Nobody saw you swerve. Nobody heard you slur your words. That's all a lie, right? That's a lie. So that's another truth. I'm sorry, but that's a truth. So you can't argue with that one. So that's another one that's on the list that's actually a truth. Regardless of where it came from, it's still a truth. You said yourself it's a truth. So it's a truth. What was another one? Oh my God. There was another one. And that you disregard the kids. Well, we all see you do that, so you do disregard the kids because you're online telling them to go away. So that's a true statement. You can't argue with that. If people can't see that's what you're doing, then there's nothing you can say to those people, because I realize they're teenagers, they don't need you as much as they do, but they still need you as a person in the house. Not maybe. The language alone, the topics of the disgusting things that you say are being said loud enough, screaming into a screen, in a closet with your children or outside the room, because we can hear them, so they can hear you there, sweetheart. Yeah, that's real nice. That's the way a mother should be. So that's probably another statement that was in that DHS statement, about the swearing and all that stuff. You don't seem to think that it affects people, but it puts off a negative vibe. So when you get yourself, like you say, you're really mad. But you've been really mad for a really long time, so it's kind of hard to feel sorry for somebody that's mad every day. So you've been screaming in your closet for pretty much 6 months now, and your children are listening, and enough said on that. Like,